Indeed, a very warm welcome to you. This is the Business Hour podcast. My name is Mbogoh, and today we'll be focusing our discussion around the future of cashless transaction. And today in studio we'll be engaging Irene Auma, who's the risk director at Visa, and she'll be telling us and just trying to explain how SMEs especially can be able to take advantage of cashless transaction in the future and some of the things that they're currently doing to make that possible. But before going into that discussion, here's your business tip for the day. And our tip for today says, the value of an idea lies in the using of it. That is by none other than Thomas Edison, the co-founder of General Electric. All right, and as promised, I'm currently joined by Irene Auma, who is a risk director at Visa. Irene, karibu sana to our studios.
Asante,
and welcome to Business Hour.
Thank you for having me.
All right, and I think let's go straight into it. Why do we need cashless transactions, and especially why now?
Thank you, Jimmy. There has never been a better time to adopt digital payments. We call it digital payment, moving away from cash, because the opportunities are immense. Speaking from today, the biggest currency out there for any business, for any individual is data. Cashless transactions, digital payments gives us that value. Okay. And as Visa, we front this to the consumer by going contactless, providing opportunities to be paid and to pay by Visa card digitally. Okay. So for an SME, for an individual, the opportunities available to be paid by Visa card or to be paid cashless is immense. And in the face of the pandemic, COVID-19, what better time when you don't want to handle cash, you don't want to touch the cash, to create opportunities for contacts. Everyone is speaking about how else do I pay other than by cash. So it's amazing. It's also inclusive. It's an opportunity for financial inclusion for even those who are unbanked. It creates great opportunities to bring on board everyone, whether they have and even who we consider they have not.
And I actually like the tag, which is Maisha ni kutap. But one of the things that I want you to explain to us is, how does this contactless transaction work?
Contactless transaction is a seamless mode of payment for the consumer to effectively and efficiently pay for their bills and for the businesses to receive payments in a more efficient way. So how does contactless work? Contactless, our Visa cards gives you an opportunity. A Visa card that is contactless enabled allows you to pay when you bring it close to the terminal at the point of payment. You don't have the traditional method that today we have is inserting the card in the terminal. But contactless allows you to just tap, bring it as close as about 4 centimeters to the terminal, and the payment is initiated. The authorization request is initiated. Otherwise, everything else, the information, the data that is transmitted through the transaction happens efficiently within less than a second, and that allows for moving the queues for the businesses and being able to just efficiently move along with your payment.
All right, and actually that brings this question that I had in mind, because I'm just tapping. That means anyone else can use my card and go and tap, because the security that the current terminals, the current cards that we've been using has, is the fact that I need to key in my password or my security code to be able to allow this transaction to go ahead. But doesn't that come with a risk?
Thank you again for that. And I want to demystify that perception, that contactless is actually insecure. It is not. The same security that today we have for our chip cards, the chip technology, your Visa card that is chip enabled. Today in Kenya market, we have over 99% chip cards in the market. in essence, we do no longer have in our market the swipe cards that were more vulnerable to skimming and stealing of information. The technology we have in the market today is the chip technology, which ensures that every time you make a transaction, there is a unique code. We call it a cryptogram that is generated, that is unique. Even, it's not open to the eye. So every time you insert that card, let's use the contact first. You insert that card, and cryptogram is generated, a unique key is generated that is actually used to initiate transaction for you and is sent to your bank to authorize that payment. And therefore that means not all your information is transmitted openly at that point. That information cannot be copied. The moment someone tries to skim it or copy it, it becomes useless. It is destroyed, because that is the technology that we've built within the Visa chip cards. And that same technology is in use again when you tap. The moment you tap, the difference is only the card ceases to have interaction with the terminal the moment you tap it. But in a contact environment, you insert it, the card has to stay there until you complete the transaction. Now, to the point of PIN, allow me to just complete that section. To the point of PIN, due to the risk profile of transaction at Visa, based on the global data that we see per second as transactions happen across the globe, we are able to risk rate a transaction, a single transaction, and give it a value, a risk value. Based on the risk value and other parameters that I may not be able to discuss, we would need a workshop of a week to discuss. We are able to communicate and determine that this is a high-risk transaction and therefore it requires a PIN, or this is a low-risk transaction, it is good. For example, you've gone to buy a coffee at Java. It is 220 shillings. You need to come, you've ordered your coffee, you're rushing to your meeting, you pass by, you get your coffee ready, you tap and go, because who would be stealing to pay for coffee? So those are the profiles that we look at.
So at what point then will it require me to use a password if I need to? Because again, I'm sure this is something that a lot of people have been asking. How then do I make sure that it is safe? Whether it's that 1 shilling, whether it's that 1,000 shillings or 100,000, how do I secure it?
And that's why we come in as Visa. Because today, contactless for Kenya may be a new technology, or we'll be talking to it as if it were the newest thing. Yes, it's the newest thing in Kenya, but we have over 10 years experience in managing contactless payments across the globe, and we bring that experience to provide to our consumer. So the essence of contactless is the efficiency of paying, and therefore the PIN will come in. And that's why consumers need to know that sometimes they'll be required to put in their PIN, and sometimes not. So you should stay comfortable when you tap and the transaction requests for PIN. Please go ahead and input your secret PIN. But if it doesn't require, your transaction is still secure, based on what I explained about the cryptogram or the safe key. Another thing that probably I would want to highlight, in paying the transactions contactless, as long as you have funds, that card is funded, your Visa card is funded. So let's say this is your debit card that's linked to your account, and you wanted to buy a car. Do you know you can tap and pay for your car as long as that card is funded?
That's interesting.
Then you would have to verify that transaction, because that's a high value transaction. So you would have to input your PIN.
All right. So basically, Irene, if I'm understanding you correctly, is depending on the value of this transaction, you might require more verifications as you go along.
Yes, it's both value and other parameters internally.
All right. Let's talk about what informed this decision to bring this to Kenya.
There's no more ripe market than Kenya. Look at the demographics of Kenya. Kenya has a median age of about 21 years old. That tells you the majority of the population in Kenya is young. And then they're not the people who want to go and withdraw 20,000 shillings from the ATM and walk around with money. So we're looking for ways to enable payments, to grow and bring everyone, as I mentioned in opening, on board to be able to pay and access payments. We look forward to a time as we build our transport system and related, so that if you're going to get your border guy, you can tap for your 50 border ride and pay and go. And that's the need of contactless payment. We want everyone on board.
To be able to come on board. But Irene, let me take you slightly back. Does this then mean that I need to go and get a new Visa card?
Today, there are banks, with our partner banks, our member banks, who issue Visa cards. And I would encourage every person, and even you, to check the Visa card that you have. The card probably already has is enabled, contactless enabled. So if your card has the wave that shows, you see the wave that looks like the Wi-Fi digital, it's normally on the face of the card. That tells you that that card is already contactless enabled. But if your card is not, then your bank is equipped. Go and talk to your bank, and they will be able to issue you with a contactless enabled card.
I'm wondering, looking at the future, and COVID has also come and we've learned a couple of lessons. Is this the future of transactions?
This is the beginning of the future. This is not just the future. There is more coming. Other than contactless, and as we embrace contactless, we open opportunities because we look at being able to tap from your phone. We look to build to the point of being able to have your card on your phone. It's not really your actual card, physical card, but the capabilities of your card to be able to tap from the smartphone. The wearables, like my watch, today across the globe, there are places where I can go if I'm buying my coffee or smaller, low-risk transactions. I'm able to tap and pay and go. So that is the future that we're looking at. However, today, what we need to come on board is to embrace digital. And to the data that I spoke to, this enables SMEs, this enables consumers to be able to pay. Remember, if I may, normally it's a challenge. You have 1,000 shillings in your wallet and you need to make a payment for 200 shillings. Now the seller says, I don't have change. That doesn't come into play when you're able to pay digitally, because the exact value that you pay for, you tap and go.
What is the cost of this transaction? Is it the same normal bank rates that apply, or is it different?
It is completely free. The same value, 200 shillings, 500 shillings, 1,000 shillings that the business charges is the same value that will be debited to your account. So it's extremely free to pay via your Visa card. There is no cost.
On the business hour, we're very big on SMEs, and especially the upcoming SMEs and young entrepreneurs. Now, from some of the things that you've been able to do, how many merchants who are dealing currently in SMEs have you been able to bring on board?
Thank you again. The number is growing. The number of small merchants or small businesses that are coming into the Visa rail to accept and pay with Visa is growing. We currently are running a campaign called Where You Shop Matters, where we are partnering with SMEs, small, and we have big partners. We've partners with players like Pesapal to be able to bring small businesses on board and be able to accept payments via digitally, to be paid and to pay digitally. And this has been able to bring on board very small, as small as recently I just got my salonist on board of Visa payments through the same partners. They come, they set up for you, and they're able to give you full setup, including online payments, where you don't have to go to the store physically. Online payments, so that, and this they're doing for free at the onset during this campaign period. So I encourage every SME who's today that supplier of eggs, the gas supplier who delivers gas to people's homes, the smallest SME, to be able to come on board. And that actually increases the number of customers, because as we partner with the SMEs, we actually do marketing for them. We partner with them, and we we increase their reach to be able to bring more clients to their doorstep.
And again, whenever we talk about payment methods, the issue of its effectiveness and how easy it is to use it also comes into play. And with a lot of these SMEs, we see them using M-Pesa tills and the likes, because again, a very large number of the Kenyan population is currently on M-Pesa. What are you doing to sort of make sure that contactless and Visa cards can be used by every SME? You talked about being able to support them and being able to also just market them. But the question is, from their end, what would they need to do?
They only need to go to www.visa.co.ke, and we have quite immense amount of material. We'll work with them. There's financial education, how to do their books. Through digital payments as well, we're able to give them data, point them in the right direction that this should be your target, because we have that asset available to support the SMEs. And through that, they'll be able to accept, and not only locally. We've seen our local SMEs who only knew marketing by word of mouth today be able to sell globally because of paying by Visa. Because if you accept Visa, your reach is beyond Akinyi and Njoroge.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And now we've seen, and this is something that I mentioned earlier on. Currently in Kenya, M-Pesa is really big. It has become very convenient for so many people to pay using M-Pesa. What are you doing to make sure that Visa and cashless, contactless becomes as effective and as easy to use? Because you'll remember, there's a very large population of this country that is still unbanked, but they have the M-Pesa.
And I will tell you, statistics show the market is huge.
Yeah.
It's actually over only about 10% are paying digitally today. So we have about 90% of the population to bring on board. Okay. So even though almost all of us have M-Pesa, we are not making our payments, because at the end of the day, it costs to pay.
Yeah.
And as a Visa, today there are what we call prepaid cards. And any bank, any member bank in Kenya today can give you a prepaid card, which is contactless. And it costs nothing. All you need to do is to load that card and pay. Yeah. Through that. And when you pay by Visa card, any Visa card, be it a premium card or a prepaid card, it is free to pay. We do not levy any fee on the consumer. And that is how we are ensuring everyone comes on board. Because if you can't have a bank account, it does not mean that you cannot have a Visa card. Okay. And we are moving to the point where you'll be able to have Visa card, remember I mentioned, on your phone. Okay. That you can actually, you don't need the actual plastic. Yeah. You will be able to have a Visa card on your phone, and you'll still be able to tap your phone eventually when we get there and pay. But now you can get from any financial institution that issues Visa cards, a prepaid card, and be able to make your payments if you do not have a bank account.
All right. And you've talked about SMEs being able to come on board, but the question is, from the time of my registration, how soon can I start using this option, this payment option?
We have been wowed by the efficiency of our partners, because we've seen guys coming on board a day. Those who bring everything of themselves are able to accept payments in 24 hours. Some with a little delay based on the information that they provide and their agility within 48 hours. So it's totally dependent on the business owner and how agile they are. Because our partners will be they'll come to your location, they will set you up, they will train you, they will set you running by the time they leave your establishment.
All right, and let me just ask you this. Why do I need to go cashless? I'm an SME owner. I know cash is king. Why do I need to go cashless?
One, you bring more traffic to your business. That is the number one point. You bring more traffic. Today, if you if your customer comes and they were coming to buy one item and they come with 1,000 shilling and you only accept cash, and in the era of COVID as well, if you only accept cash, chances are they'll go. You don't know whether they'll come back. So that sale is aborted.
Yeah.
But if you accept Visa payment, it's limitless. Because when I come to your establishment, I came to buy maybe a pair of shoes.
Yeah.
But you have a nice handbag. I'm not limited to the amount that is in my wallet.
Okay.
That's an opportunity because you accept Visa.
Yeah.
I'm able to pay for more items. So you get more traffic. Then beyond that, again, data. With the data that we have and the support that you get from Visa, we're able to give you the asset of being able to project for where else, what can I grow into, what are the finances that I need, what stock should I keep. That you cannot do when you're receiving cash. You cut down on the risk of your attendants mismanaging the funds because you have a view of everything that comes in and goes out if you accept Visa payments or if you pay by Visa.
All right, and of course, as a guy, the one thing that I will be looking forward is to be able to go to the garage and tap and just get my work done and walk out a happy person. But as we go forward, what are you doing to entice more SMEs to consider Visa payments?
Today, we are out there.
Yeah.
We've worked with our partners, both the financial institutions as well as the fintechs that we've partnered with, like PesaPal and the like, to reach out to more, to be able to reach out to more. Every week we have Visa Live Show where we actually bring on board SMEs and those successful stories are discussed.
Yeah.
And in those discussions, we are able to demystify the big picture. Visa is not for the rich. Visa is for all of us. Visa payment is for all of us. And the fact that every mwananchi, every person has a Visa card and can pay by Visa card, that means that every SME can actually access. And to what I've said, today we can access internet just on our phones.
Yeah.
So that access is to all. There is no limit. There is no deposit that we require an SME to put to initiate payments as Visa. So we encourage that all SMEs, anybody who has a business, and we are big on the startups as well, to be able to come on board, and we'll support them through visa.co.ke.
All right, in terms of the different sectors that these SMEs are in, what is the one sector that you have seen is really coming on board?
The sector that is coming on board is the retail, the guys who sell the retail items, small retail businesses, like the guys who do bags, handbags, fashion, and what have you. We've seen them quite picking this up very quickly. The service industry as well, the kinyozi, the barber shop, that is, the salons. We've seen those come on board and pick these up more quickly than the other sectors. But otherwise, everyone else, it's a mixed grill. So we've been able to see more and more sectors coming on board.
All right, as we almost wind up, I want you to make a case to my grandmother in the village. And I want you to explain to her why she needs to go on Visa, why she needs to be able to tap and go.
Thank you, Jimmy. For your grandma and my grandma in the village, who are probably 80 plus or 70 plus for that matter, why it's important for them to get to pay by Visa. It gives them an opportunity to pay just for the value that they were buying for the item, just enough for the item. There are no extra charges. There is no complications around paying by Visa. That amount that they pay for, that's all that they'll be debited. Number two, it is secure. Your money is secure. Today, if I send to my grandma 10,000 shillings, she goes and withdraws it and carries it in cash. If someone comes and steals it, it's gone. It's all gone. When you have your Visa card, if someone snatches your card, all you need to do is call your bank. And today, technology has advanced to the point that we have today enabled technology where, as a consumer, if I feel that my card needs to be blocked, I will initiate blocking it myself. And it will not be, no one else will be able to use it. So that already secures your money. And another benefit, we are all Africans. Our parents and our grandparents invested in us. It's our turn to take care of them. It makes it so easy. My mother, all I need to do every month is load her card from my card. And that has been enabled through Visa rails, that I'm able to fund her card. And all she needs is to just pay by Visa. It's convenient. She can go to the supermarket, pick the items that she needs. She can pay for her way through using Visa card.
All right, and you've talked about the likes of Naivas that you've currently partnered with. When you're looking at these other retail stores that you're currently partners, what are some of these other stores that you've partnered and that you're working together to make this a reality for them?
Today, we have partnered with so many stores that accept Visa payments. One, we've talked about Naivas. Any Naivas you walk into, tap and pay. You can tap, ask to tap. If the cashier, for some reason, has dozed off, because they are trained as well, ask them to tap, you want to tap, and you stand a chance to get a voucher. We have partnered with stores like Carrefour. Today, Carrefour, you can go for your shopping. It doesn't matter the amount. You can tap to pay. And when you tap, there are some transactions you'll be asked to input your PIN. Some you may not be asked. So expect both. We have partnered with Total, Shell, Oil Libya. You can go, when you go for your fuel, filled up your car, just tap. And you actually reduce the chances of interaction, many people interacting with your card. We have partnered with Java, KFC, at Cafe. So anywhere that you see the Visa sign with the contactless logo, you can tap. Your card is contactless, and if you see the Visa sign, because we've made an effort to label everywhere that has accepting contactless payment, please ask to tap to pay.
All right, and now my final question to you is, what is the risk of unintentional transactions?
When you say unintentional, I bet you mean, and again, this is a perception that we've seen in the public, that you could be passing and your transaction and your card gets debited. The chances are near nil, if not zero. Actually zero. Why do I say so? For a contactless transaction to happen, one, there has to be a terminal that is enabled contactless, that is linked to a bank. Secondly, a cashier must initiate a transaction. So if I'm a cashier, I must initiate, either I'm billing you for 1,000 shillings or I'm billing you for 200 shillings, as we said. Once I initiate the transaction, the card has to be within 4 centimeters or less. You can imagine 4 centimeter width. It's quite a small, you have to really be uncomfortably close to be able to initiate a transaction on that card. Even if that happens, that you brush with a machine, chances are that there are more than 2 cards in your wallet. When a contactless terminal detects that there are more than 2 cards, 1 card in range, you have to select which card you're debiting. And once you select, you have to input your PIN at the end of the day. Because you don't know whether the transaction will ask for PIN or not. So there will be no time that 2 transactions will be debited at any time. 1 transaction has to be completed before you initiate another contactless transaction. And for any transaction to happen, a cashier has to trigger a transaction.
All right, and I think that's a good place to end it. Irene, thank you so much for taking the time and joining us. And as you would say, where you show up matters. Right here on the Business Hour, we say every hour is Business Hour. My name is Mbogoh. Let's do this again, same time next week.